What's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. I'm back here at Crown Hyundai in St. Petersburg, Florida, and guess what? I have that one EV that's sparking a lot of conversation. This is it. This is the all-new 2022 Hyundai Ioniq 5. This one is featured in this beautiful color called Shooting Star. But before we get into this hatchback crossover SUV that's electrified, let's talk about what's going on here. Hyundai. They're really doing the business, not only with their internal combustion engine lineup, including the performance and brand division, but also now shifting gears towards electrification. A lot of chatter with a lot of different car companies now making that move, especially with Tesla doing all of that groundwork in the beginning, becoming that household name. But a lot of the auto manufacturers, especially Hyundai, wants to showcase what they can bring to the table when it comes to electrified transportation. Now, Hyundai has built a name for itself on value, and that's something that they are promising to bring into this vehicle, plus some very unique style and a lot of great technology. So let's see if this Ioniq 5 is deserving of the World Car of the Year, that EV of the Year from World Car, and also compare it to another hot competitor that's electrified, that Ford Mach-E. Yes, Ford calls it a Mustang Mach-E, but is that the EV you need to be spending your money on rather than going with the Ioniq 5? Let's go ahead. We got an SEL trim, rear-wheel drive with the extended battery pack. Let's find out if this is better than the Mach-E and really deserving of the title that it won. Let's find out. Right off the bat, the style. Very unique, very different, especially if you compare it to the sister brand Hyundai has with Kia. The EV6, much different design philosophy. At the front of the business, it's kind of interesting because you got this futuristic feel. They really went to town on the rectangle and the square shapes, especially with the LED daytime running lamps, LED turn signals, and of course you have the LED headlights. You'll notice that nice flat satin finish known as Shooting Star. This might be one of the top colors, I believe, that's going to be on this Ioniq 5. I like the silver trim, and then you'll notice that there's really nothing fake. I wish they would have gotten rid of the lines here. Get rid of the lines or make this an actual fog lamp housing. I think that would have been the better direction to go, but very low coefficient of drag, which is going to help extend that battery life. It's not just about how big the battery is, it's how this shape cuts through the air. And you'll notice all the geometric hard lines, especially as we get down the side of the Ioniq 5. Now, coming across the front, something different. You do have this large gloss black area, and you can see the difference between where the hood is and where the actual front fascia kind of meet together. But I do like the flat metallic silver. These are shutters that will open and close, obviously because we have a liquid-cooled lithium-ion battery pack. From the front, it definitely stands out. You let me know how you feel comparing this to the Mach-E. I think the Mach-E has a little bit more substance to it, but I'm very curious to think if you like this Ioniq 5 front end better. Now, when you get up onto the hood, very nice waterfall design. You got the Hyundai badge, and they actually sunk it into the hood. That's how important coefficient of drag is on these electrified vehicles. When we come around the bend, normally you could get an optional dual motor, which would give you all-wheel drive. This is a standard rear motor, so we are standard rear-wheel drive, just like on the Mach-E as well. You'll notice with these wheels, a little bit different than the last one that we featured here on Raiti's Rides. These are 19-inch wheels. I love the star design, especially with the color that we have. Machined aluminum, gloss black. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size? 235 on the tires, 55 series sidewall. One of the things that I'm not in love with is the flat black plastic. I wish they would have painted this, so I am gonna zonk it, but I do like the way they brought these hard edges to give it that unique style. You can see how the hood meets the top of the fender. And then as we come down the side, you do have electric folding side mirrors. See the square motif with the lighting throughout the whole vehicle. Nice high roof line. I mean, this is where the actual size of the vehicle, it's bigger than what it looks like in pictures. I'm 6 feet tall, and you can see how I'm standing next to it. You got your flush mounted door handles with the little square design there. You got more of that flat black and the way that they brought the lines, and then some gloss black, everything kind of angled. Because you'll notice that you have an angle coming down here, and then you have the top body line going down that upper middle portion towards the rear of the vehicle. Now, as we get to the rear, I do love what they did with the roof spoiler. Much better looking than the Mach-E. You got that nice long extension, the LED lighting, the black shark fin antenna, and you have the cutouts, which really gives it a nice sporty look. From the rear, there's more of that LED lighting with the square design. They did a good job of carrying this horizontal stripe thing that they started from the front and on the side to the rear. The Ioniq 5 badging, some nice aluminum finish, and then all the way down, you'll notice how they cleaned up the rear portion of the bumper as it slopes towards underneath the vehicle. But I think from a overall visual standpoint, this one has a little bit more creative shape than the Mach-E. But why don't we go ahead, let's talk power and what is this thing producing range-wise to get you down the road. All right, guys, we got the hood open. You do have hydraulic hood struts. Now, it's interesting because you get this cover. It looks like an engine cover like you see in your normal internal combustion engine vehicle. But as you can see with the blue and the letters EV, open it up, you actually have storage underneath. Now, most people are gonna put probably their charging cord in here, but you could easily, if you wanted to get maybe some donuts from, I would say, Krispy Kreme, some nice glaze, you could put them in here, and then with some summertime heat, they could get nice, warm, and moist. Get that with a fresh glass of milk, and you are good to go. But let's talk about what is happening with propulsion of this vehicle. So like I had mentioned, we have one electric motor. It's out back powering the rear wheels, 225 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 is gonna be a very brisk 7.4 seconds, but here's the big news. Range, 303-mile range. The even better news is, obviously with a DC fast charger, you could go from 10% battery life all the way up to 80% battery life in 18 minutes, or you're looking at 68 miles worth of charge every 5 minutes. So that's pretty quick on a DC fast charger. The vehicle weighs 4,200 pounds. If you're gonna put this on a home charger, you're looking at around 8 hours worth of charging. I think it's so smart to give people the option of dual motor or single motor, and it's a nice welcome present to have some storage. The one thing though with the Mach-E is, remember up front, not only do you have storage, it's larger, plus you could turn it into an actual cooler with a drain plug. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior and see how this Ioniq 5 stacks up to the Mach-E. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Ioniq 5. This one, like I said, is a SEL trim. One thing they definitely got right is making this unique. And I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, you are so right. You're so freaking right, Joe. The outside is unique. It really doesn't look like any other EV out there. But I know what you're saying to yourself. How much is it? Because at the end of the day, that's the bottom line, is how much does this cost? So SEL trim with this paint job and all the other fixings that it has, you're looking at an MSRP of right at $49,000. Let's see how it stacks up to the Mach-E, to the door panels. Now, I like the way this one has the two-tone style going up. You got the darker gray finish with the sort of bronze copper contrast stitching, soft touch material, nicely shaped door handle, and then you are going to get the lighter color on the armrest. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, that thing's going to get dirty really fast, and you're probably right. So you're going to have to get some of those Armor All cloth cleaning wipes to wipe things down. You'll see the square design on the side. No gloss black though, which is great. Door pocket, you could easily get a Mighty Mean Green Machine from Jamba Juice, and maybe, I would say, a kale sandwich in there. Maybe two kale sandwiches. Other than that, nice, clean on the door pocket style. Going from the door panel to the dash, soft touch material. There's more of that bronze copper stitching. I like the way they did the AC vents and the design. And then guess what? You're not only getting one, but you're getting two 12.3-inch screens. Now, why I like these screens more than the one in the Mach-E is because not only is it the way that it's arranged, but I also think that the smaller is better in this case. Mach-E, you could get that 15.5-inch screen. It's portrait style. This is 12.3-inch, and it's a nice horizontal setup. You got the easy swipe features. You could go into your EV settings, see exactly how much charge you have, how much you have left to go. You push that little widget there, and now you could actually pull up your charging current, whether you want it minimum, reduced, or maximum, utility mode. So I mean, this you could really fine tune to where it charges exactly on a scheduled basis how you want it. You're gonna have navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, more swipe pages going on, and then I wanna showcase, we're gonna go into setup, screen theme, and layout. Right now I have it in the darker mode. We're gonna switch to the lighter mode. So that really allows you to really have a totally different personality. You could go into your warmer settings, and this does have heated seats. The one zonk is no ventilated seats at $49,000, but it does also have a heated steering wheel, which is great. And then you get right back to home. Now, to get into reverse, you got a nice clear resolution on your camera. You got your sensory protection all the way around. Put it back into park. I like the way they cleanly integrate the AC vents. You got your EV start-stop button, dual climate control. And then with this being an electrified vehicle, just like the Mach-E, you have a flat floor, and that's really gonna open things up. USB-A, 12 volt, and a big, huge pocket there for a nice Granny Smith apple. Just make sure you don't get one with a worm. Those are no fun. 2 cup holders. There is your Hyundai key fob. Flip it around. Nice size, nothing too crazy. Wireless charging, USB-A, USB-A, and there's a pocket in here for some candy cigarettes. On top of that, now you could actually bring one of those wireless boombox systems in here. So if you really want to get a little bit of extra bass going, bring that wireless boombox in here. You could put a purse, a purse, a bag, a sack, a satchel. Hell, you could put a 5-pound bag of Idaho potatoes. 100% Idaho gold, baby. That's the way to do it. As you can see, the center console raises and lowers. I do like the soft touch material. And then you got another compartment in here. You could put a picture, almost, I would say, 5 by 8 picture of your high school girlfriend that you can't stop thinking about. Just make sure you don't put that picture in there if you're happily married. That's probably not a good idea. But you could put keep a picture of somebody, maybe your dog. Maybe you want to see your dog. Oh, and then you close it up, and then you get back to reality. Seats, soft touch, love that copper bronze finish, the indentations, the perforated, the style, manual adjustments for the passenger. I have electric assist, nice flat bottom floor, lots of room up here. I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of room in here, but why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel and 12 inches of fun on the business side. Come on over. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have your seat controls within the fingertips of your fingers to get to adjust. I feel good. The seats are actually, I'm glad this has an extended battery pack because these seats are gonna keep you feeling fresh, cool, and collective as you're going down the road. Steering wheel, very unique. Flat bottom, nice leather. If you're wondering why is there no Hyundai badge, this actually is Morse for the letter H. So kind of cool that they did that, but I would prefer a Hyundai badge instead of just some squares. You got your drive mode selector button, like a Formula One car. You got your paddles, that's for regen braking. Lots of different levels of regen braking. And then you got another 12 inches, 12.3 inches to be exact. I want to give you perfect measurement. You could scroll through a cornucopia of information. But then you got the drive modes. Sport, got to have some red. Eco, go and hug a tree. Just make sure it's not a palm tree, those hurt. And then normal, but we're gonna keep it in sport. And you could hold it and go into Jiminy Cricket snow mode. So that's when Frosty comes to town, you go into snow mode, but we're gonna keep it sport because I live in Florida. Frosty doesn't visit us. Nice, no glare, which is crazy. And I got this in the sun. There's no glare on the screen. Why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat because I wanna make sure your passengers are gonna love you as much as I do because you got a good riding EV for them. Let's go check out the back seat. All right, guys, no worries back here in the back seat. Like I said, flat bottom floor. You don't have any kind of drive shaft hump or anything like that because there isn't a drive shaft in this car. Remember, it is rear wheel drive because electric motors back there. I feel really comfortable. It feels really good. So I don't think you have any worries of your passengers loving you because they're gonna love you a lot if you get one of these to drive them around in. I'm not really in love with the cloth, this cloth material on the back. I know parents are gonna like the plastic because the kids kick the back of the seat when they're all crying and whining and complaining, and you can tell them to stop, but they keep on doing it. I'm gonna zonk the cargo net though. You put a sharp knife in here or maybe, I don't know, a pair of scissors, you're gonna rip right through that. So I don't recommend putting sharp things in there. Put more of like soft, lovable things, like a plush toy, maybe a glowworm. There you go. AC vents are gonna keep you glowing nice and cool because they're in the frame rail here. I do think that was a smart touch. USB A's, and you have a churro holder. You could easily put, I would say, 8 churros. Stand them up. Just make sure they're not like the 15-inch long ones. Go more like, I would say probably like an 8-inch tall one. So just, you got to know your churro lengths. It's something important when you're eating churros. They even have mini ones, but I hate those because they're too small. Reclining seat, that's a nice touch, huh? Pull that up. Armrest. I wouldn't say it's Charmin soft. It's more like Scott toilet paper. 2 cup holders, but it at least won't leave you with a rashy elbow. Something to think about. And then I do like the way they brought the perforated material back here. It does look extra classy and nice. But why don't we go ahead? This thing's got a hatch. Let's pop it and see how much stuff we can put in the cargo area in this Ioniq 5. All right, guys, cargo time. You got a nice hidden button right about there. Pops up, electric assist. It's a little bit of a high cargo floor off the ground. Just something to be aware of. But the good news is you got a little bit of a lip to stop things from rolling out if you're on a hill. You got 28 cubic feet of space with the seats up, 12 volt, plenty of room width-wise. It's a little tight on the height, and probably the one biggest zonk I have back here is to fold the seats down, you gotta go over to the passenger doors. There should be nice handles or levers that I could pull on to make those go down. You do have a little bit of storage underneath, especially for that charging cable if you're not gonna put it up front. But you know what? We got one electric motor, but we got one extender of a battery, long range extender of a battery. Let's go ahead, let's go on throttle and see how this Ioniq 5 drives. All right, guys, we're in this 2022 Ioniq 5, that SEL trim, single motor. One of the things that I love about what Hyundai has done with the Ioniq 5 is just how quiet it is in here. The sound deadening material, the thickness of glass really allows you to have a super serene driving environment. All of the controls are easy to get to, easy to figure out. Right now I have it in sport mode, and we're gonna go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. So I think that with the single motor setup, you're getting plenty of power. Plus, you're gonna have that longer range capability, which is really nice. 303 miles. Getting to the infotainment system is well within reach. And visibility is just mind-blowing out the front, even out the back. You don't have to worry about it being too tight out of that hatchback rear glass. You got your different levels of regen braking. You could even switch to one pedal operation, which will allow you to just come to a complete stop, all by releasing the throttle. and then getting back going again. In sport mode, it's got a great feel to the overall steering. Nice weight to it, nothing too heavy. And then if you want to go to normal, you just hit that button and you can feel how much lighter the steering is and the throttle sensitivity. Of course, if you go into eco, it'll be even more so. But going over these speed bumps, soaks up the bumps nicely, very, very smooth. And just the layout in here is unbelievable, especially when it comes to storage space. Now, the Mach-E, I feel, it's a little bit sportier overall, if that makes sense. And I'm not even talking, I'm comparing apples to apples, single motor to single motor, but there's just something about it that it feels a little bit more sporty. I think when it comes to how you can change the sound through the speaker system and really give it a unique overall personality while you're driving, that's something more so that you could do with the Mach-E. But from a technology standpoint, this Ioniq 5 brings it together so well, especially with the large screens. I mean, you got the two 12.3 inch screens, plus it's just well laid out and it makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna come to a complete stop here, and then we're going to go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. So like I said, if you want more power, you can get that with a dual motor setup. The one downside is you lose range. So something to think about, you know, when you're optioning what you want your Ioniq 5 to have, what do you value more? Do you want the range? This is the better way to go. But I'm hoping that this has been a nice quick overall view of what the Ioniq 5 brings to the table. We're gonna get back to Hyundai, Crown Hyundai, and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. Guys, it's been another great day here at Crown Hyundai. I definitely got to thank Steven and the rest of the crew getting us access to this 2022 Ioniq 5, this one being an SEL trim. Let me know what you think. If you want to see what the dual motor setup is like, that video is going to be popping up very soon, so click on this one. But when comparing this to a Mach-E, for what you're getting for the price, which way are you going to spend your money? And is this really deserving, do you think, of being that World Car of the Year? Let me know in the comment section. But until we meet again, if you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. Got to give it up to the camera person extraordinaire, Lori, working that camera like a champ. Show her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for being the Energizer Bunny. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.